Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to SASE 2021. We're here ready to get Pokemon Red on the way with not your average everyday category. Perhaps Mr. Crrool over here can tell us more about it. Take it away.
I will certainly do that in just a moment for you, Double. But before I do, hello everyone. Welcome to Pokemon Red, No Centers, No Marts. I'm Crrool. I do a lot of wacky Pokemon speedrun categories. So today we are here for this one. I'll explain the entire thing once we've actually gotten started. But let's actually begin the thing first. I'll do settings. Now, we've already closed the names, and Double, please do confirm for me that Trainer will be Tater, Rival will be Radio, and Squirtle will be Paul. And then, the Nidoran will be closing in a couple of minutes in case anybody wants to snipe that name last second.
Yep, that is all correct.
All right. Then I'll be starting the run in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So, Pokemon Red. It is, I imagine I don't need to explain what Pokemon is for most people here. Fairly well-known sort of an RPG series. Basically an RPG series. We're gonna do our names first. Let me fill those in. So that's Tater for the trainer. Then we get to name our rival. It's gonna be Radio. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let me actually explain what this category is. So this is Pokemon Red, no centers, no marts. And this category is about as wacky as you might already expect. We are going to try to beat the game as fast as we can without ever buying anything except for 2 purchases that are required by the story, and without ever taking any non-required free heals. Which essentially boils down to we get 1 heal right after the first battle of the game, and then never again. We are going to live off the land, as they say, and we're going to try to survive as long as we can without ever actually buying anything or healing anywhere outside of what we find on the floor. And that's going to result in a lot of interesting little strategies. It'll result in a lot of risks. I will be saving a lot throughout this run because we kind of have to. But it should also result in a very wacky little category and just a lot of fun to do. So we're going to grab Squirtle as our starter. Our Squirtle, which we're going to name Paul. Do that right now. And that basically brings me to the first save of the game. Now, when I say no centers, no marts, I will say I am allowed to pick up items on the floor. I will be allowed to use those whenever I choose. So we are literally just living off of whatever we can find on the floor. We're going to use Squirtle for the first about 10 to 15 minutes. Give or take 15 minutes, after which we are going to main switch to a Nidoran, which we're going to be catching in about 10 minutes. So the fight with Bulbasaur, fairly straightforward. We hope to not get growled too much, especially at the start. We are getting quite unlucky with that. So we tail whip back in the hopes... Because the thing is, I have a potion for this fight, but I can't use that yet. The first half of this run, potions are going to be incredibly scarce. So we are going to have to watch out with all of that. The thing is, there are approximately, I want to say 5 potions that we can pick up in the early game. That is all of our health that we have throughout the entire game. Or at least until we get to, the SSN, which is going to take a little while. Oh, that's a really bad miss. This might already be our first reset if this continues. I need him to growl me a few times now. And preferably growl miss. Okay, yeah, we should have this. Yeah, we should have this now. Okay, cool. We didn't lose. That's the first dangerous fight of the game out of the way, but it will certainly not be the last. So, this is where we get our first and only free heal in the entire game. Our Squirtle just got healed, and with that, we get set on a little bit of a quest from the professor. We need to go to the mart to pick up an item for him. Now, we don't actually buy anything, so this is allowed by the rules. Also, it's required by the story. I'm also going to talk to this guy because he's going to give me a potion. He works for the mart, but we don't pay him, thus it's allowed. The No Centers, No Marts category is a really weird one, and the phrasing of the category might not actually be the ideal way to explain what's going on. No Centers, No Marts is really in the most broad sense that you can imagine, as in no buying, no healing. That's the idea. Or at least not healing through people or through even the heal tile in the Lavender Tower. We're going to attempt to skip that. So yeah, on the way up, I defeat one Pokemon here, ideally a level 2 or 3 Rattata. Sorry, level 2 or 3 Rattata or a level 2 Pidgey. That is because that way I'll get just enough experience to have Bubble by the time we get to the first gym. And we really will want Bubble for that. When we get to the mart here, he tells us, we're from Palatown, we're going to get the parcel, and with that, we're going to travel back to Oak. Now, once I leave Oak's lab is when I'll be cutting the last incentive from this run, which is the Nidoran name. So this is your last opportunity to name the Nidoran if you would like to. So, a little bit of background on this category. This category is done in, by this point, quite a few different Pokemon games. This category exists for Pokemon Red, Crystal, Emerald, and Black. Those are all of the ones that have been done up to this point. Those are also generally the most interesting ones. I've attempted this on Fire Red, but I couldn't beat the Elite Four with it, and I'm in the process of routing it for Pearl, but that's proving to be quite a difficult one to do. So, this category was originally started about 6 years ago by Zerna's TV. At that point, this run was considered to be horribly inconsistent. It was absolutely awful to even try and finish runs, but it was certainly something. He, I think, still has the number 2 time today, mainly because this run doesn't really have that many runners. He's just under 2.5 hours. Over time, this run has gotten a lot more consistent, especially with Pokemon Red, as we will see in just a little bit. The run used to be very difficult, in part because we're going to get Nidoran, but we need very specific stats on Nidoran for it to work. And 6.5 years ago, RNG manipulation was not a thing. So nowadays, we can just use RNG manipulation to catch a Nidoran with exactly the stats that we need to be able to just get through the game. Because the hardest...
Speaking of Nidoran, do we cut the incentive here?
Yep, please do.
Alright, I'm doing one final check for donations, and no changes in this bit more. So the Nidoran name is going to be Double, D-U-B-B-E-L. But what we did get was a $5 anonymous donation. So thank you for that.
All right. Yeah, there's a hidden potion here that we're going to pick up. Very helpful to have. Now, I don't have any Pokeballs, and I can't buy any Pokeballs. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to go into the forest right away, and there is exactly one Pokeball that we can pick up here. That's the Pokeball that I need to catch the Nidoran in. It's about a 1 in 3 to get in. Now, normally speaking, you'd be able to manipulate that, but because we have named our trainer, the manip for that will not work. So we will have about a 1 in 3, and I'll just reset whenever we don't get it. So this may take a few tries, or we may get it first try. Time will tell. I'm just hoping to not get too unlucky with it. So yeah, once we have the Pokeball, we're just going to go down, and we're going to go catch that Nidoran. Now, I'm going to use an RNG manipulation to get the encounter with exactly the stats that I need. This is a fairly easy RNG manipulation, and there are manips for better Nidorans, but this one will do. So the way that it works is as soon as we soft reset or hard reset the console, the RNG will get set back to a known value. And from there, depending on the number of frames that pass, determines what the RNG is going to be like. So every input here is buffered, essentially, to get me a level 4 Nidoran with very good stats. I'll explain more about the stats in a little bit. And let's see. Nice, got it first try. That is very lucky. Okay, there we go. So, the stats of every Pokemon in Gen 1 is set to a random value between 0 and 15. 0 being the worst, 15 being the best. This Nidoran has 12 on HP, 15 attack, 11 defense, 14 speed, and 14 special. So these are, like, this is top tier on just about every stat. Its worst being defense, and even that one is still in the top third of possible stats. It's a really good Nidoran for us to work with. So we're going to go through the forest. I am going to pick up an antidote over here. And then there is the second big fight that we need to do coming up in just a moment. Now, to come back to what I was talking earlier about what makes this run as challenging as it is, surprisingly enough, it generally isn't the fact that we don't have any heal items. Most Pokemon games have more than enough heal items on the floor that we can pretty much survive the entire run with it as long as we're a little careful. The biggest threat that we actually run into isn't the heal items, it is the fact that I can't buy any X items, and those are usually very scarce on the floor. Anyway, we pick up a few extra potions, and then it's time for this trainer fight. This one is always very scary. I don't have that many potions spare. I can definitely not lose that many on this, so we'll see how this goes. The strategy is to tail whip twice. That should get him low enough that we can 4-shot with tackle. We're hoping for as many string shot misses as possible. String shot hits is also fine. I don't like that miss on our end. The thing we really... Come on, really? Double tackle miss? The thing we really don't want to see is me critting, because that adds a turn. This is a terrible start to this fight. Or him using Poison Sting, especially with it poisoning me. It's fine if it poisons me, but it needs to be at the very end of the fight. Okay, we got it. That's good. That was a good fight. Okay, so now we just make it out of the forest and we're gonna go talk to Brock. We just got level 8. Level 8 is when Squirtle learns Bubble, which means Brock is gonna be absolutely free. I'm gonna use the Brock fight to try and level up the Nidoran to level 8. So that's the goal, because then we get Horn Attack, and that is one of the main moves we'll be using for the next little bit of the game. So yeah, another very scary fight coming up here. We do have the are helped a little bit by the fact that we haven't needed to heal, and I don't really need to heal right now. We are still kind of hoping to do this fight without needing to heal again. If we can get through this fight without needing to use a single potion, that'd be perfect. But if we need to use one, I can use one. It's not a huge deal. So that's the general idea. So, let's go. Strategy, very straightforward. He leads Geodude. We send out our Nidoran double. We're going to immediately switch to Squirtle and hope that he does Defense Curl. We really want to see Defense Curl here. Tackle, I don't like at all. Okay, we do have good special, that helps. Defense Girl on the second one, that's good. That gets the Geodude out of the way. Both of our Pokemon are going to level here. Double to level 6. Squirtle should go to level 9. Okay, now we switch back to Double. And we basically repeat the same thing. Now, ideally, I want to see Bide or Screech. Although, really, like, all of the attacks here are a little bit worse. So Bide is fine. That means I'm going to use Tail Whip. Stall out the Bide. 2 turns of Tail Whip. And now I'm guaranteed to get a bubble off here. And I pretty much should have won the fight at this point. Okay, Bite here doesn't matter. We win. That was a solid fight against Brock. So we get double to level 8. We learn Horn Attack. And that is this area done. That was a very good early game, actually. The Weedle fight, we lost a few turns, but overall, that was a very solid part. We actually come out with an extra potion compared to most of my practice runs. Most runs, I'll have used at least 1 potion at this point. Not having to need to yet is really, really helpful. So yeah, we get the TM for Bide. I'm not going to ever use that. We will be tossing it when we're in a menu coming up soon. And with that, we're going to move on to Route 3. Now, Route 3 has a ton of trainers that we need to deal with. Usually, in a normal run, we would now use this opportunity to buy a bunch of extra potions. Thing is, we can't. That is not an option for us. Instead, our strategy is get lucky and try not to use too many potions. And this is where those stats really come into play. This first fight right away, depending on my attack stat, I'm either going to need 2 or 3 attacks to deal with this Caterpie. Right now, it should take me just 2 Horn Attacks instead of 2 Horn Attacks and a Tackle. And for the next fight, being fast enough means I can outspeed Ekans, and that can really help me on that fight. That crit actually made me not win. Crits in Gen 1 ignores stat changes. If it wasn't for that crit, I think we would have 2-shot it. Now, Weedle doesn't actually do that much damage to us. It can only ever do 1 with Poison Sting. So our strat is, instead of Horn Attacks, we're going to use Tackles. This way, I'm hoping to save a few Horn Attacks, which we're going to need in Mount Moon. Because again, in a normal run, you would use the center just before Mount Moon. And you would use the extra power points you gain there. I can't do that. That's not an option for me. So instead, we're going the long way around. Okay, level 10, very good. And then for Caterpie, since Caterpie can do a lot more damage again, I'm going to use Leer and then 2 Horn Attacks. And this is pretty much guaranteed to kill. Every time our stat changes, we what's called the badge boost is reapplied, which essentially means every time our stat changes, we get a slight boost to our attack right now. Very helpful. Okay, time for the next big scary fight in this run. We're going to use a potion on Double. We're going to toss that, and I'm going to toss that. They're going to just clog up my inventory. And I'm going to actually switch Squirtle to the front. We're kind of gonna sacrifice the Squirtle a little bit to make this fight a little bit easier. Now, it is worth noting, this Squirtle is not going to be revived throughout basically the entire run. We can't. It's that simple. We don't have that opportunity. So we Tail Whip here. I'm going to try to get a Tackle off, which seems like we can. Perfect. And then, okay, this is fine. This works out just fine for us. Now we switch back to Nidoran, and I can tackle until the Rattata dies. It should take 2 tackles for me to kill it. You can see why this fight is scary. That does a lot of damage. Oh boy. We're down to just 10 HP, and that's just after the Rattata. We still have Ekans to go. So for Ekans, it is Leer and then just 2 horn attacks. I'm fine with it using Leer on me. The move we don't want to see here is Wrap. Poison Sting's good. That's the best thing he can do, pretty much. Scary fight, but decent fight. We will take that. We still have enough health as well. We should be okay to move on from here.
Do you mind if I come in with a quick donation?
Go ahead.
Scratch that. Come in with two quick donations because we got $5 from Sapphire Blue World as well as $20 from Sif. Both with no message, but thank you very much for supporting our event and supporting Organization for Autism Research.
Alright, coming up next is the next bug catcher in the game. We are going to tackle 3 times on Weedle. Again, Weedle can't really do much to us, so I'm not really scared of just spending some extra time using tackles to conserve horn attack power points. We need exactly 8 tackle power points after we finish this route. So for the second one, we're going to use horn attack. At least on the first one, it's going to start using Harden, so right after, I'm going to just switch to tackle and defeat it that way. That was a very useful crit. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to use a somewhat similar thing here, but on the Caterpie, since Caterpie does a lot more damage than Weedle, we are going to just use Horn Attack here. Yeah, let's use 2. We should have enough. Especially this early on in the route, I really need to pay attention to exactly how many power points I have, how many I've used, and how many I'm going to need. We are going to get rid of pretty much most of our moves, because one of the best ways we have of dealing with PowerPoint usage and restoring PowerPoints in the early game is by just teaching new moves over old moves. So, for example, in a little bit, we're going to get the move Mega Punch, and we're going to teach that over Leer. We get the move Water Gun, and we're going to teach that over Horn Attack. Possibly the other way around, depending on how the PowerPoints end up working out. But the general idea is that we are going to learn new moves over time to help us conserve more PowerPoints in the long run. Now, like I said, I need 8 PowerPoints left after we're done with this area. We have 13 right now. That's very good. Is that enough? Yeah, okay. There is a strat that I can technically go for if we have a lot left, but we don't have enough for that. That's okay, though. 9 is still very good. That means we have 1 spare. So we should be good heading into Mount Moon. Now, Mount Moon, I'm going to fight a few optionals just to gain some levels. A couple quick fights there. We do still have 1 more Pokemon we're going to be catching. That is not an incentive, and I didn't end up adding that as an incentive because we're going to trade that Pokemon away. Like, we're basically at most once going to use it in a battle, if even that. Yep, Pokemon Center there. We're going to avoid that. We ain't got no time for Pokemon Centers. Instead, we're going to just grab a bunch of items in here. So this is TM12, that's going to give us Water Gun. Very useful move to deal with all of the rock types that are coming up. Got a potion over there. And now we just make our way through the cave. The random encounters here generally aren't that useful. We're going to get enough experience without them. The idea is we want to hit level 21 after the third not counting the rival trainer on Nugget Bridge. That way we can get Thrash, which we learn at level 23. So that's a small little thing that comes into play there. Anyway, in the meantime, this super nerd right here, Horn Attack 4 times, possibly 5, depending on the moves that he does. Not a huge fan of that tackle. Can I get a high roll? That would be helpful. Yeah, okay, we're gonna use that one extra Horn Attack. I'm not confident the Poison Sting would kill from there. The Voltorb, we have 2 Horn Attacks for this. Are hitting quite hard, and that's kind of annoying. Because we are still going to be limited in the health that we have, right? That's unfortunate. Okay, another Screech, we're fine here. So I'm not gonna... Like, all of the potions that we have, I think we have 3 more right now. Those 3 potions are going to have to last us until we get to the SSN, which is another half an hour away at this point. We have about 80 health, adding the 20 that we have right now. Or no, that's not true, because we do pick up 2 potions here. We have about 100 health we can heal until in the next half an hour. That's what we're going to have to work with. Now, generally that should be enough. I've definitely had to deal with far less. But, you know, Nugget Bridge can be scary. The second item there was an escape rope. Very useful in a normal glitchless run. Not at all useful in this run. And then we're going to fight this lass. An Oddish and a Bellsprout. And this is going to give me just enough experience to evolve the Nidoran into a Nidorino. And one of the big upsides of getting Nidorino over Nidoran is that Nidorino can learn Water Gun, which means we'll have a way of dealing with Rock-type Pokemon. Which is convenient because the next trainer coming up after this is going to be a Rock-type trainer. This works out just fine. Very good, very good. And there we go, level 16. So we're now going to evolve, or the Nidoran is now going to evolve, or Double is now going to evolve, I should say. And in just a moment, I'm going to be teaching it Water Gun over Horn Attack. Horn Attack is down to 0 power points. We can't use that anymore. So time to learn a new move over it instead. Okay, there we go. So, a little bit of moving around the cave now. There are 3 more trainers that we need to do. And while we do that, chat, I do have a big question for you guys. We get to pick the fossil right after, and we have the choice between the Helix fossil and the Dome fossil. And I'm asking everybody in both my chat and the SASE chat, you know, do let me know if you have a preference. We have probably about like 3 or 4 minutes left before I need to make that decision. Now, it is worth pointing out I'm counting the votes from both chats, so long as it is, you know, not the same person. So, I am counting more than just... Like, if I pick Dome over Helix or Helix over Dome, that might be because of votes from the other channel. Anyway, this trainer, this hiker right here, super easy, barely an inconvenience. 3 times Water Gun and then we win. Right now we are on 3 votes for Dome, 4 votes Helix. Yeah, that extra level is going to make things a little bit easier later on. We pick up the Moonstone here. Now, I'm not actually going to immediately use the Moonstone, and there is a reason for that. As you may have noticed, I am not actually using RNG manipulation to get through this cave. And the main reason for that is just there's a lot of extra fights compared to a normal glitchless run. So the regular quote-unquote manips don't work. Now, as a result of that, we are going to get a few extra encounters. It's not a huge deal, but the extra encounters are going to be a little bit faster if we have Nidoran up front, because the Nidorino, the cry that Nidorino has as it comes into the fight is slightly shorter than that of Nidoking. So the fights become a little bit shorter by like a couple frames as a result of having Nidorino instead of Nidoking. The vote, by the way, currently being 5-4. 5 Helix, 4 Dome, so it is still a close vote. 2 more battles at the end of this floor, and then we get to pick. Now, one thing I need to not forget is we picked up TM1. Oh, right, I can't teach that yet. I was like, wait, why can't I teach that? But that's because we haven't evolved yet. I should have probably realized that a little sooner. So 5-5 on the vote right now. We are tied between Helix and Dome. So,
well, do you mind if I throw something your way to break the tie?
Yeah, by all means.
Because we have a $20 donation from Feka with the comment "Pick the Helix."
Oh, that's a fairly convincing argument right there, I'd say.
It's for charity.
Exactly. I think that's a fairly convincing argument right there.
Alright, thank you for your donation, Feka.
So yeah, it's now 5 votes and $20 versus 5 votes. Yeah, that's a fairly obvious winner right there. Okay, so we're gonna teach Mega Punch. Gonna teach that over Leer, since we don't need Leer anymore. And then we have a couple fights coming up here. Now, before I actually start the fight, I am gonna save, because Mega Punch has one major downside. It is not 100% accurate. And its misses can completely screw me over. Like, let's say we were to do this fight, and I'd miss like 5-6 times in a row. That would mean I don't have enough power points for Mega Punch to beat the game. So, you'll quite regularly from this point onwards see me save the game, just in case I miss too much. Because that is realistically a threat in this run, especially right now. Now, we are going to improve Mega Punch fairly soon, because at level 23 we get Thrash. And that's going to kind of solve that problem for us. But we have about, like, 7 trainers, I want to say, that we need to do using Mega Punch. And those can potentially be very scary. So I'm going to just be overly cautious and save everywhere. And hopefully that'll do. Last fight in Mount Moon right here. We have this Super Nerd. And Mega Punch isn't actually going to kill most things. 2 of his 3 Pokemon are not going to die to a single Mega Punch. So we'll combine Mega Punch with Water Gun to be able to make it work. There's our first miss, by the way.
Ooh, this Dome versus Helix battle might not be over just yet, because we just received $40 from Shidohari saying, "I raise you and convince Crrool to pick Dome."
Well, that is also a fairly convincing argument. We have to pick right after this fight, by the way, so we're going to have to be fast if we want to decide. And then right after this fight, we also get to catch the Spearow, which we're going to trade away, which I didn't put an incentive to because we're going to trade it away, but now that I'm hearing that, now that I'm seeing how this little bid war is already going, that may have been a mistake. Well, any last donations, Double? Please refresh.
I'm checking it right now. I'm seeing nothing, so
okay, Dome it is.
Feel free to log it in.
All right. Did not expect that to turn into a bid war, but You know, that's how that happens, I suppose. So, now that we're done, now that we're out of Mount Moon, we get to catch one more Pokemon because there is a Great Ball hidden right there. This one is going to be used to catch a Spearow, which we're going to trade away for a Farfetch'd. And Farfetch'd is going to be our Pokemon for both Cut and Fly. Now, the flip side of that is we only have one Pokeball, so... Well, there it is. We're kind of lucky that we encountered it right away. We did not kill it by accidentally critting it or something. So let's use that Great Ball, and that gets us Spearow. Cool, very quick Spearow, very helpful right there. On to Nugget Bridge. Now, Nugget Bridge, we are probably going to get into one of the hardest fights in the run. And the main reason for that is that the rival here leads a Pidgeotto, and that Pidgeotto has Sand Attack, making the already inaccurate Mega Punch even more inaccurate. We are going to use 2 potions here. I'm actually kind of happy that we still have 3. I think in my practice run I had 1 left at this point, so it's quite an upgrade, that's for sure. Save the game and let's do this. Okay, scary fight coming up. It is worth pointing out that this Pidgeotto does not die in 1 Mega Punch, or potentially even in 2 Mega Punches. Any other move than Sand Attack I'm fine with, so long as we don't miss. Okay, miss on Sand Attack. Very, very good. I should have gone Poison Sting instead of Water Gun, but that is a solid start. That Sand Attack miss is very, very important. My last practice run, we actually got hit by a single Sand Attack here, and on this Abra, I missed 6 tackles in a row. And then I continued missing on the final Pokemon, and that ended up forcing me into resetting the fight. You can probably see why that would potentially be a problem. Okay, we didn't miss on the Rattata. It didn't go for Quick Attack either. Very helpful. That gets us to Bulbasaur. Tackle, that's good. Hopefully Tackle is enough here. Is not. But I can Poison Sting for the win. There we go. Okay, cool. That went really, really well. On to the rest of Nugget Bridge. So we've already done the hardest part of Nugget Bridge right now. We have 3 more fights remaining that could all turn very ugly. And then from there on, the rest of Nugget Bridge is kind of gonna be free. Believe it or not, we're slowly closing in on the easy part of this run, because believe it or not, there is an easy part. The easy part of this run basically starts after the 3rd trainer here and lasts until about getting Fly. Between those 2 points, there are things that can happen and things can go wrong, but they're not as likely to. At that point, we'll start getting some more heal items. We're actually gonna get an elixir very soon. Elixirs, very helpful items. We're gonna get an ether soon, so we have some ways of actually restoring power points. And then we're gonna pick up a full restore and a max item in the foreseeable future as well. So things are starting to look up. Two more fights left where we can kind of get screwed over, and after that we'll be okay.
Well, as you make your way through Nugget Bridge, do you mind if I read out yet another donation we got?
Go ahead.
Because we have $20 from Benjamin Kayur, requesting to name the far-fetched sphere.
I would, but I can't. We will trade it away.
I believe because you receive it in a trade, you can change the nickname.
Yeah. Even if we were to go to the name raider to try and change it, the game wouldn't let me. So, unfortunately, as much as I would love to honor that request, I can't do that. Because the game won't let me. Okay, last fight here. This one we need to use Mega Punch 3 times. That'll get me to level 23, after which or level 21, after which I can use 2 rare candies to get to level 23 and learn Thrash over Poison Sting. Poison Sting is never really is a move we'll use a lot, so being able to get rid of it like that is kind of helpful, actually. I don't mind it. Okay, one more. That's an unfortunate miss. He goes for a Leech Life. I'm okay with that. And we hit there. So we still have 5 Mega Punches. Which I believe is enough. Okay, we're gonna learn Thrash here. And teach that over Poison Sting. Okay, now it's time for the easy part of this run. Let me quickly explain to you guys why Thrash is broken in this game. So, Thrash is a move that will hit 3 or 4 times, depending on the RNG. It's always 3 or 4 and confuse me right after. It is incredibly powerful. I don't know the exact count in its power, but it's really high. On par with Mega Punch and the likes. It's 100% accurate, but the biggest thing, what makes it so broken specifically for this run, is, well, see, the thing here is, Thrash only uses 1 power point for the entire duration of it, meaning I can defeat up to 4 Pokemon at the cost of 1 power point. Now, seeing as how we have basically no way of properly restoring power points, this is probably the most helpful move we have for a large portion of this run. Because in a lot of this run, I can just use Thrash, move on. We are going to replace the move eventually. It will get outclassed over time. But because of it being able to just breeze through fights as quickly as it does, it basically using no power points, it is just hands down the most broken move we have in this run. Anyway, last trainer here, a Rocket Grunt, who's going to ask me to join Team Rocket. We say no, and then he battles me. Yeah, if you saw there, we still have 18 power points, despite already having defeated 4 Pokemon, and that's just going to get better as we go. Now, there is one more kind of scary fight actually coming up. I know I said we were kind of done with the scary fights, but there is actually one annoying one happening in just a moment. This one isn't that scary. It's very rare for this fight to be a problem, but in theory it could be. We have an option between 2 hikers here. I can either take this hiker or I can take the hiker on the right here. If I had a choice, I would go to the one on the right because it has an Onyx, which we can just water gun, and that's that. But we go for this one instead because behind this one, locked behind this fight, is an elixir. Now, an elixir, for those that are not as familiar with Pokemon, is an item that will restore 10 power points of every single move we have. That means up to 40 power points we get out of that for just doing this single fight. And normally this fight goes well. It did this time, so very, very worthwhile right here. Yeah, we grab the elixir, and then we're just going to kind of finish up the rest of the route here. 3 more trainers here. They're all going to simply be a matter of we're going to use Thrash and then move on. So I'm going to use this moment to quickly mention to people in my channel, if you are or if you have come in over the past 40 or so minutes, we are currently streaming for SASE Marathon, the Support Autism Speed Event. One of my mods can get you the link to the channel if you want to see the full marathon run. Definitely worth checking out. And with that, Double, if you have the opportunity, maybe talk a bit about SASE if you're there, if you're eating or using this opportunity as a break, by all means, and I'll just keep talking as well.
Perfect time. I can talk for a bit. Because you are currently watching the Supporting Autism Speed Event, which raises money for the Organization of Autism Research, which is a charity that strives to fund autism research as well as ways to enhance the quality of life for individuals with autism. More information about this organization can be found on the website at researchautism.org. Additionally, we've received a wealth of donations. The donations have been steadily going the entire marathon already, so thank you all very much for all your generous donations already. And for the people that have donated already, allow me to notify you that for every $10 donated throughout the entire marathon added together, you will receive one entry for every $10 into a raffle for one of 7 copies of Sensory Life on the Spectrum, which is a comic anthology about living with autism. It's a 140-page book featuring work by over 30 different autistic creators, all telling their stories of how autism affects their lives. You can type !sensory in chat to see more information about this, as well as see the Kickstarter campaign that's currently still going, which you can also support on your own merit. Furthermore, we have a bunch of incentives that you can donate towards as well. A few of the ones that are...
Mind if I jump in a little bit and I'll let you finish in a few minutes?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so we've now beaten up all the trainers here. I'm going to talk to Bill, who's going to give us the SS ticket. In just a moment, I'm going to make my way to the next gym leader. Normally, we would escape rope out of this building, but because I haven't done any centers, that would immediately bring me back to Pallet Town, so we don't want to do that. Instead, we're just going to have to walk back to Misty, and we'll fight her in just a moment. And she is probably the hardest gym leader we face. We have to face. Her bubble beam can do like half of my health, almost all of my health with a crit. So yeah, scary fight. Anyway, Double, by all means, continue.
All right. So yeah, about the incentives that we've coming up, a couple that we have coming up quite soon is there's 2 incentives for the next run that we have coming up. For the upcoming Crrool run that's up next after this run, which is there's one donation incentive to check out to cheer up the plants during the run, which needs $20 to be met. Currently no donations towards it yet, so still $20 to go. And then also for $20 we can build a snowman. Additionally, we have a bonus showcase run for the Bugsnax run that is going to be following after Crrool, to show us for runner conception 2 to show us the any percent category. We need $25 for that to be met, and we're currently sitting at $5 for that. So just like the Crrool incentives, that coincidentally also needs $20. You can also yeah, for a different Bugsnax bit war, there's also a bit war for the Grumpus color. No donation towards that yet. Your options are yellow, orange, black, or green, all sitting at 0. So that's quite an easy snipe if you're interested in some Bugsnax looks. And yeah, that's the upcoming incentive. So back to you, Crrool.
All right. So I noticed in chat that you might have to fix that sensory command you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I'll look into that. You go play game.
So that was Misty. Misty went well. We did not get crit by any moves from Starmie. Starmie has about a 20% crit rate in this game due to the crit chance being tied in with base speed and Starmie being one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. That makes this fight potentially scary, but because A, we had a lot of potions left, and B, he didn't ever use Bubble Beam, we were kind of in a good spot there. This is one of the reasons why the stats that we have at the start of the game matter as much as they do, because if we don't have enough speed, the Starmie would actually be faster than I would be, and what that would result into is that the Starmie could just completely overpower me in that fight. So that's kind of a big deal in that fight, and it's one of the many reasons that stats matter as much as they do. Now, after that, we can leave this place, and we get to this rocket here. He's stolen the TM for Dig. We are going to get Dig, but we're never actually going to use it in battle. It's just as a sort of replacement escape rope, while the escape rope right now would set us back to Pallet Town, and that is going to be true for the duration of this game. Once we have Fly, it can still be a very fast way to help us get out of buildings. With that beaten, we're going to come up on the Underground, and the Underground's actually kind of an important one. There are 2 items we can pick up. Now, if I had a trainer name of 3 characters or less, I could jingle skip this first item, and we could pick it up without ever hearing the jingle. Because the trainer name we have is too long, we will hear it. That's one of the small little things about having a longer trainer name. And then I need to pay attention to the audio for the second one. I started way too early. There it is. Yeah, I started mashing for it way too early. This one I'm not as confident in as with the other hidden items. The audio cues are far and few in between, but that X special will be used on the very last battle in the game. The amount of X items we actually pick up over the course of this run are very few. There are not a lot of opportunities we get to pick them up. So we're gonna save them for the battles where we need it the most. And that X special specifically is going to be used for the fight against the champion at the very end of the run. Yeah, a couple more, 2 more trainers here. The first one with 3 Pidgeys. Each of these Pidgeys does have a chance to use Quick Attack, which would chip away at my health a little bit. The fewer that use it, the better. But it's not a disaster if one of them does end up hitting a Quick Attack. None of them did, very good. And then the second fight also has a Pokemon with Quick Attack, as he has a Raticate. Our health is looking really good, though. We still have 1 more regular potion, which I'm going to be using in the next menu. But overall, we're in a really solid position right now. This is, at least luck-wise, probably one of my better runs. We haven't really died anywhere. We haven't really gotten too messed up by fights. That Quick Attack crit is a little unfortunate, but really it doesn't matter because we'll still have 61 health going into the rival fight. 64, because we just leveled. So, next stop is the SS An, and this is kind of the point where the run, where we get a bit more leeway in the run. In this area, I can pick up several extra heal items that we can use throughout the remainder of the game. There is also a decision I need to make for a strategy. I can go for a slightly more risky strat here, but one that is definitely a significant amount faster, or I can go for a safer strategy. Now, because if the run had been going terribly, I would possibly just take the time loss and go for the safety strat. But because things have been going so well, I'm going for the faster strat. Gotta save that time. The super safe strat, which you basically never really want to use, but you could, is if you go into the 4th room there, there is a TM for rest. And I can use that, use the TM for rest in the ghost tower. Hold on, that goes over, yeah, water gun. I could use rest in the ghost tower in case we get screwed over by like status effects and whatnot. Now, rarely do you actually need or want to use that because you do have a full restore going into that. And because we're so high on health, I can actually fairly safely use it if I need to. 1, 2, 3. Hold on, let me double check. 4, yeah. Wanted to double check that I go into the right room here. So we do a quick optional fight here. This is not a fight you will ever see in a normal glitchless run. But the reason we do this fight is because the item we can get from it is an extra rare candy. And that makes things work out a little bit better and a little bit safer later, for just a lot further down the line. Also, it's just 2 bubble beams and we win the fight, so it's really not much of a big deal. There we go, we get the rare candy. Let's move on. So up next is our next rival fight. This one isn't that likely to screw me over. The main reason for that is if we do get hit by sand attack, just like we had with the first rival fight, I can swap to the Spearow, and I can just have the Spearow faint, because we're going to be trading the Spearow for Farfetch'd in like 3 minutes anyway. So if it faints, it's not a huge deal, because the Farfetch'd will be full HP when we get it. Anyway, the strategy is to bubble beam twice. Hope to not get hit too much by other moves, specifically sand attack. There we go. Very good, very good. The Raticate here, we're going to Mega Punch. I could use Thrash as well. Thrash would kill it, but then I do have to rely on a 50% of Thrash being 3 turns rather than... being 4 turns rather than 3 turns. Whereas this is 90%. So this is... The other strat is like... essentially 75% to go well. This strat is 90% to go well, so this one's a little bit safer. Okay, that's that fight out of the way. Very good. We've defeated our rival Radio once again, and it's time for us to get the HM for Cut. Now, I don't actually have a Pokemon that can learn Cut. In a normal run, you would either use Oddish or Paras or Farfetch'd. We don't have any of those, but we do have access to Farfetch'd in just a moment. Yeah, similar to the other one, you can skip that jingle here if you have a name shorter than 3 characters, but because we don't, we get a small jingle. And now we can just walk out of the ship. We're done here. We have everything. Or everything we need, at least. So, ship sails away. We're done with this area. It's time for us to move to the 3rd gym of the game, and arguably one of the easiest gyms in the game. The 3rd gym is electric type. We are part ground type, which means that half of his team can't do anything on us. The Raichu doesn't have any moves that would actually hit me. The Pikachu at most can do quick attack. The Voltorb can actually do some damage through Sonic Boom, but is not really a threat either. Before we do, we are going to be trading for the Farfetch'd. And this takes a few seconds, so yeah, we're just going to sit back, relax, have some fun, you know. All of the normal things that you would expect to, or well, that we don't have to, we don't have to think about this, right? It's, oh, at some point I am going to have to hit a button, but, eh. So on that note, if you're watching this run and you're like, well, I mean, I knew Pokemon speedrunning was something, or and you were like, you either run the Pokemon or you considered picking up Pokemon speedrunning, if you are into doing weird and wacky categories, the root of this one is completely public. You can find it on the category extensions on speedrun.com. So, you know, if you are ever like, this could be a fun run to do, it's definitely worth checking out. Yeah, we're going to teach Dig, we're going to teach Cut, and it's time for us to just go into the gym. So, trash can time. There is a fairly specific pattern to this, and as to, you know, when we find the first one, we kind of know what the second one is, with up to 50% success rate. This is a good one to find. This one is 50% to give me the correct one. I will save, immediately gets me my Surge save out of the way as well. Didn't get it. Quick soft reset, no biggie. Yeah, it can always be the top left one for some reason. So that's one we can always check. There we go. Now we can talk to Search. Here we go. So the Voltorb is going to get exactly one attack off. That is completely normal. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to Bubble Beam the Voltorb. Now it is possible for me to just start out with Thrash, but this way the fight is a little bit safer. We have the power points for it, so I figure we might as well. And then after that we thrash the rest of the team. Yeah, Raichu is going to take 2 hits. But like I said, Raichu doesn't have any actual attacks that can hit us. I mean, the very fact that it even attempts to go for Thunder Shock there kind of says enough. There we go, Surge done. We also get the TM for Thunderbolt, which is one of the moves we're going to learn next. We're going to be teaching that over Tackle. Before we do, we are going to get the bike voucher right here in this place. So this guy, he's going to be talking all obsessed about his Rapidash. Oh, I accidentally pressed no. I did not mean to do that. So normally we would have a warp point in Cerulean, and I could then just dig out of this building. We'd be back in Cerulean, could immediately pick up the bike. Again, because we can't use the centers, that's not an option for us, so we're gonna just have to walk back after this. And then right after, we can finally get ourselves a bike. So, up we go. Just backtracking a little bit. That's definitely one of the things that we have more with this category. There's a few places where you just need to backtrack a little bit because we don't have the bike. Or because we don't have warp points and fly, and we can't just dig out of buildings and get to where we want to be. Luckily, this part just doesn't take very long. A couple of grass tiles. We got lucky in that we didn't get any encounters. There's really not much more to it than that. So after this, we can actually make our way to Rock Tunnel, which is kind of the last super safe part of this run. There's definitely not going to be that many fights after that are really that threatening. Although I will say, after we're done with Rock Tunnel, we're going to get to the biggest difference between this category and a normal glitchless run. You see, in a normal glitchless run, you would do your shopping, then go to Lavender, and pretty much do that entire sequence right away. Because you can use a Pokédoll on the Marowak, or rather on the Ghost, and you can basically skip the entire rocket sequence. So you'd never really have to deal with going through the rocket hideout in Celadon. Now, because we can't buy that Pokédoll, it costs 1,000, which means we would need to spend money. I will actually have to do that entire sequence the normal way, which is kind of funny in a way. Not something we get to do a lot, but it is going to be kind of neat to do. The fights there are generally very safe. Before we do though, this fight can actually screw me over. This is 4-turn Thrash Girl. The name might already explain what's going on. We need to hit Thrash 4 times, so I'm just going to immediately start with Thrash. And we're going to hope on the 50% chance that we succeed at that. Or that happens. Okay. That's bad. I'll explain in a moment what just happened. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to try that. So, fun fact about Gen 1. In Gen 1, if you have a 100% accurate move, you have a 1 in 256 chance to miss said move. This is due to not really a coding error, this is intentional, because the way that it's coded, otherwise, moves that don't affect the opposing Pokemon, so for example, a ghost move on a normal type, or an electric move on a ground type, would have a 1 in 256 chance of hitting, and that would cause problems. So instead, you have a 1 in 256 chance for the move to miss, even if it's 100% accurate. That's what just happened on a fight where you really don't want to see it. Most fights you don't want to see it. This is one in particular where you do not want to see that. And we didn't get the 50% again. Hopefully this is enough to kill. Okay, we make it through. That is a little unlucky. It happens. Not the end of the world. Good thing we had saved before this fight, though. So yeah, that miss we call the Gen 1 miss. And the funniest way that this happened, and this has actually happened to me a couple of years ago, is when self-destruct misses. True story. A couple of years ago, when I was running the glitched catch 'em all category of this, I used self-destruct and I Gen 1 missed. So, yeah, I missed self-destruct because of a 1 in 256 chance of missing it. Not fun when that happens, I can tell you that much. But also kind of funny. Anyway, we win this fight, we get to move on. There is a super potion that I can pick up momentarily, and I will, and then immediately use it to get back to full health. Now, normally I'd use that super potion right away as well, not expecting to be at full, but at least, you know, filling up my health a little bit. Because of how little damage we've actually taken over the run so far, I can actually just use it to get back to full HP. So yeah, just gonna use that right away. That is a full health, and now it is time for Rock Tunnel. Now, two things about Rock Tunnel. A, we can't see where we are. We can see the walls though, so that's at least convenient. B, and probably more important, I don't have repels. As part of the No Centers, No Marts, we also cannot buy repels, so we are completely down to RNG whether we will get encounters here or not. So, yeah, we're gonna have to get a little lucky. Other than that, this place is not that hard. All of the rock and ground types we use Bubble Beam on. All of the water types we use Thunderbolt on. All of the other types we use Thrash on, and that's how we get through this place. So, let's see how we do in terms of encounters. Take your guesses as to how many you think will happen. This is our second one so far. Rock Tunnel's usually not that bad. The encounter rate here isn't super high, but we are still expected to see, like, somewhere between, like, 7 and 14 encounters. Okay, second trainer, just a simple Slowpoke. Now, one little side note that's probably worth mentioning here is all of that extra experience from the trainers we fight earlier on actually are relevant here because it gets me to level 30. And at level 30, we have the opportunity, or no, we are guaranteed to one-shot the, I believe it's the Bulbasaur coming up, but it could be the Oddish coming up. One of the two is otherwise a range. Might actually be the Oddish. Yeah, the level here kind of matters in guaranteeing that we will one-hit KO these. And that's important because if we don't one-hit KO, they can do things like Sleep Powder or Stun Spore or, you know, annoying things like that. As you can see, we're down to only 5 Thrashes at this point, but we are going to use an Elixir after we are done with this cave. So we go through the remainder of Rock Tunnel, and then fairly shortly after, we have one more trainer after, and then we're going to use an Elixir. Okay, there's our 4th encounter. Not off to a great start here. Every encounter loses approximately 7 to 8 seconds, so getting a lot of them, which we are certainly doing so far, is not what we're hoping for. Gosh, okay. This is a little annoying. Welcome to Gen 1. Welcome to having to go through caves without repels. The biggest annoyance about no centers, no marts is you don't have repels. It's not the thing that makes this run difficult, but it certainly can make things a little annoying sometimes. There's an age-old meme about places like Rock Tunnel and Mount Moon of, you know, a trainer setting one foot inside and then being just bombarded by Zubats. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. This isn't even Mount Moon, but, you know, it still reigns true for this cave as well. I've stopped counting, by the way, in case somebody is still counting. Would love to know what we're at the end of this place. Anyway, next trainer. One more trainer left after this one. And, you know, we're not off to a great start, but we can make it work. Now, there is another strategy, by the way, that you can go for in this place that I haven't even really talked about. We are going to use this strategy for some parts of the run. For the sake of safety, I'm not doing that right now. If you want to go through this place optimally, you'd actually be at below 20% HP, at which point you would be in red bar. The reason that red bar is kind of a relevant thing is that in red bar, all of the cries from Pokemon coming up on the screen get skipped. So that would actually potentially save a few seconds every single battle in the game. But, you know, the downside of that is you need to be below 20% HP, and that's not ideal. Especially with how scarce mule items are in this run, we are gonna just not do that. Yeah, this was the last trainer in here. One more trainer we need to fight outside, and then we are pretty much at a point where I can start using an elixir. We can kind of heal a little bit. At least get our power points back. We're already at full health, so we'll, you know, be as good as new, right? First things first, though. Max Ether on the rock here. That's going to be helpful later on. We're going to go through Lavender. We're going to just skip that for now. And then fight this old guy. two strategies we can go for. We can either Bubble Beam or Thrash. Because of the PowerPoint usage, we're going to just use Thrash. We do have slightly more experience than we would normally have, so some fights become a little bit easier as a result, though that's unlucky. Okay, we didn't get burned. That was a little bit of a concern that I had there. It is possible for that, if we miss the range on the Growlithe, for it to use Ember and then burn me, which would waste my full restore. And that would suddenly make this next area very scary, because we're probably coming up on one of the most RNG-heavy sequences of the game, the Lavender Tower. First things first, though, I'm going to use that elixir, like I said. We're going to get on the bike, focus for just a moment. Luckily found that hidden item really quickly. That one I use a visual cue for. I count the number of down presses that I have on the bike, like on the pedal of the bike. On the 12th down press is when I need to start looking, and that usually has me within 2 or 3 tiles. Okay, time for the only time we enter a mart and actually buy something. Now, this is blasphemy. And you guys should all be upset about this, so feel free to, post your baby rages and swift rages and whatnot. We're going to buy a single freshwater. This one is allowed by the rule set, because it is required by the game. It is impossible to beat the game without using any glitches, without buying that. So, that is the only time that we are going to buy something at the mart. We are still going to buy something else later on. But yeah, we're gonna buy some water, stay hydrated and all that. So moving on, over here we can get the HM for Fly, which we can then teach to Farfetch'd. Where is it? There. M2, Fly. Okay, now before we actually go to the Ghost Tower, I always kind of forget that this next part is a thing, but it's a thing. Before we go to the Ghost Tower, we're gonna go get the Sylph Scope. Like I said, something we only ever do, specifically in... Well, no, it's not true. One of the things we basically only do in this category. There are only a few categories where we would go do this part, because this is skippable in the game. It's even allowed to skip it in glitchless. Because, Pokédoll works, and the Pokédoll technically works as it's intended. So, it counts as not a glitch. But, we can't buy the Pokédoll, so we're gonna go down here instead. Now, there is one very, very big advantage here. Normally, in a normal glitchless run, I would buy TM7 at the Mart. That's the TM for Horndrill. Now, Horndrill is ridiculously broken in this game if you can combine it with an X accuracy. Now, we can't buy X accuracy, nor the TM, but we kind of do have a workaround. It is possible for me to pick up the TM for Horndrill right here in the underground, in the Rocket Underground hideout. And there are a total of 2, only 2, but a total of 2, that was the wrong one. Good job, me. But there are a total of 2 X accuracies that we can pick up in places around the game. One in the Ghost Tower coming up, and then one in the Sylphco during the main rocket sequence. Anyway, time to fight this guy. Most of these fights, not a huge deal. There are going to be some rockets coming up that are potentially a little annoying, but we should be okay. You'll notice at this point we are at a point where not everything will be one-shot by us. That's just something we're going to kind of have to deal with. Oh, knocked him again. Makes him drop the lift key. Now that we have the lift key, we can go back up, and there is a... Oh, whoops. There is a rare candy over here. Very helpful. And that means we can go to the elevator to get to Giovanni. All we really need to do here is just beat Giovanni. There are 2 guards in front of his door, which we are both going to have to kill or defeat. And then once those 2 are defeated, we are going to be able to fight Giovanni. We get the self-scope, so I can just defeat the Marowak the intended way, and I don't actually have to buy anything. And all of these fights, this is like a total of like 6 extra battles in total if you count the Marowak as well. All to skip 1 purchase. And it's one of those funny little things that we get to do in No Centers, No Marts, where we really do go out of our way sometimes to be able to not... or to ensure that we don't have to buy anything and don't have to heal at any centers. So, rocket number 1 here. Now this one, the idea is we're gonna Thunderbolt the Ekans. There's a Sandshrew coming up after, and I can either Thrash or Bubble Beam. We're gonna use... I think I'll play it super safe and go Bubble Beam. We have enough PowerPoint restoring items. We haven't really had too much silliness happening, so this should be okay. And then we Thrash the Arbok. That's gonna be a 2-shot. Okay, time to explain what Wrap does. Wrap is dumb. Wrap in Gen 1 completely locks you from doing anything for as long as the wrap is going, which is anywhere between 2 and 5 turns. Yeah, annoying when that happens. So this fight, a little bit easier. This time it's Sandshrew, Sandshrew, Ekans, Sandslash. So we Bubble Beam the Sandshrew and Sandslash. We Thunderbolt the Ekans. And then we can move to Giovanni. Now, after we do beat Giovanni, we're going to get the first opportunity for me to use Dig. We taught it like half an hour ago, and we're about to actually use it for the first time. The Giovanni isn't that hard, but both his first and second Pokemon are Rock type, so Bubble Beam kind of just does the trick. The last Pokemon, Kangaskhan, is going to take a few turns, but Kangaskhan doesn't usually do a lot of damage anyway. Okay, Thrash. It should take 3 Thrashes to defeat Kangaskhan. In an ideal world, he would use Rage on the first turn. Comet Punch is probably the biggest damage move he has, and it's also the slowest move he has, especially if it takes 5 turns. So, yeah, Comet Punch kind of sucks. Rage is fine. That would just have done 8, and we would have had a lot more health to work with, but it's okay. Okay, this part's now done, so we can get out of here. We grab the Sylph Scope, and let's go do the scary part of the run. So, Lavender Tower, let me explain why it's actually scary. Normally speaking, I would have the TM for Rock Slide. Now, what Rock Slide does is, it's just a normal rock type move, like 90% accuracy or something, or 85%. I don't know what it's at in this game. And, you know, everything would be super easy. But I don't have Rock Slide. That would require me buying something. I do not have any physical moves that hit Ghastly. All of my moves that would hit Ghastly, like the only 2 that I have are Bubble Beam and Thunderbolt. Now, because Ghastly actually has a really high special stat, special attack and special defense is not split in this game. Ghastly's special is really high, and as a result, we will not be able to one-shot Ghastlies with either Thunderbolt or Bubble Beam. It's always going to be a 2-shot unless we crit, which means every Ghastly is going to get a chance to attack. Now, Ghastly can do one of 3 things. It can use Confuse Ray, which is bad. It can use Nightshade, which isn't terrible, but it does do 20-some damage per hit. So, quite a lot of damage, so kind of bad. Or it can use Lick. Now, Lick is fine, but Lick has a chance to paralyze me, and paralysis would be very bad. So, basically it can do 3 things. They're always going to get an attack off, and kind of everything they can do is bad. The fact that we got this much damage as well here and we're down to 32 does not boost my confidence either. Yeah, just kind of, like, this place is kind of bad. We're gonna have to defeat, I believe, a total of like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pokemon? 7 Ghastlies / Haunters. So that is 7 opportunities they get to do something bad on me. You can probably see why this is probably the worst part of the run. Actually 8, because there is 1 extra that we need to do. There is in fact a heal tile in this tower, which completely restores your HP, power points, and any potential status effects, but, and here's the big but, it is technically skippable. It is possible, one time, exactly one time, to skip that. Now, we need to pass it exactly 1 time. You can probably see where I'm going with this. We are going to go out of our way to skip that, because though it is not technically a center, it is a free heal, and we do not want to do any free heals. No centers does include any other free heals, including Mom Heal, and including a heal like that. So, we'll see how things go, but potentially a lot of scary moments. We're going to use the max potion most likely in this place, either that or the full restore, and we'll kind of see where it ends. Upside of this place, there are 2 extra elixirs I can pick up. We'll use one of them, but there are 2 elixirs here. Yeah, those dotted tiles right there, those are heal tiles. By the rules of this game, we are not allowed to step on them. Or by the rules of this category. Because if we let this lady walk towards us, we skip it. The reason, by the way, that I use Thunderbolt rather than Bubble Beam, generally speaking, is because Thunderbolt has a small chance of paralyzing the Ghastlies, and if they get, or Ghastlies / Hunters, and if they get stuck in paralysis, that just makes my life a little easier. Okay, time for that max potion, and time for arguably the scariest fight in the run. So, yeah, scary fights. It is not any of the rivals. It is not the champion. It is not even, although Lance is a close second. This is arguably the scariest fight. This channeler right here. Simply because she has 3 ghastlies, and all of them get a chance to confuse me, paralyze me, do all kinds of nasty stuff. So yeah, now we're already confused. And we hurt ourselves in confusion. Again, okay. I have lost this fight solely to confusion before. That is absolutely possible. You've probably noticed this run has a lot of scary fights. Kind of the nature of this run, honestly. Not being able to heal anywhere, not being able to buy any of the normal items, makes it that this... Oh, that crit was great. That crit saves a turn, and potential danger. Now, that fight is optional, but we want that X accuracy. That single X accuracy is worth it, despite that being one of, if not the scariest fight of the game, simply because that 1X accuracy is going to be used for Lorelei, which would definitely have been a lot scarier if it wasn't for that X accuracy. The fight we just did is a lot less scary than it would have been otherwise. All of that effort is just to... Okay, I will take that crit. All of that effort is just to make an even scarier fight a lot less scary. In fact, it's gonna be free, as long as I can manage to keep my Farfetch'd alive. Okay, last channeler of the run. Then we're out of this scary bit. I'm out of Thunderbolts by now. I am going to use an elixir, but not until after we've beaten the Ghastly and the Marowak. Yay for confusion. Come on, game, please. Can we not do this? And this is why we save. This is why these fights are scary. I wish I was saying, I could say that that's never happened before, but that has absolutely happened before. Multiple times. Yeah, let's try that again. Of course, that didn't actually kill it this time. Can we not do this again, game? Okay. This is okay. We grab the rare candy here. And now we can move on. Now I will say, these fights are a lot worse than... We have another ghost trainer coming up later, Agatha. These fights are a lot worse. Agatha isn't that scary in this run, surprisingly enough. Okay, last up, Marowak, and then we are done with this area. Okay, we got a one-shot. Normally we don't. So kind of happy that we did. At this point, we're going to use that elixir. We've we have 3 by now, so we're honestly fine. Yeah, so for the Agatha fight, we outspeed most of our Pokemon. We have some strategies in place to make sure that we outspeed most of Agatha's Pokemon, so we don't like she's not really that scary anymore. Yeah, this fight's not really an issue. We're now done with a few of the scary parts, and we're gonna have a bit of downtime coming up. We're basically, the way that we approach this run is we kind of do all of the story bits, and then we're gonna do the remaining badges. You might notice we're like over halfway to our estimate, and we only have 3 badges. But we're gonna do all of the story bits, which is the rocket part, which is, or the Rocket Underground, which is the getting the Poke Flute, the Safari Zone, Silphco. We do all of that, and after all of that is done, then we'll do the badges, and we'll do all of them quickly back to back. Yeah, we thrash on this fight. And then we have one more fight over here. We Thunderbolt the first Pokemon, and then we're going to start switching to Thrash. And then we can go and pick up the Poke Flute. All of this effort was to get the Poke Flute, which is going to help us get rid of Snorlax, which we kind of need to get rid of if we want to progress the game. A lot of areas we wouldn't be able to get to otherwise. Raticate's quick attack, that's not an issue. And one more Zubat, and then we are done here. Alright, that's all done. We talk to this guy. We're automatically going to be brought out of this place, which is kind of convenient. Then I have to talk to him a second time in order to get the Poke Flute. Now he explains to us that the Poke Flute will wake up any Pokemon that's asleep. Mind you, this works both, and that's kind of a cool thing, this works both on Pokemon on the overworld, specifically the Snorlax, but this will actually also work for any Pokemon in battle that are asleep. I can actually use that as an item in battle. So from here on, sleep isn't going to be an issue anymore. Not that it really ever was, but, you know, it's still nice that it's not a problem anymore. Get rid of the Snorlax, and we can move on. 2 items that we need to pick up here on Cycling Road. The first one's down here. There's a rare candy. You can hold the B button to basically hit the brakes. B for brakes. Which helps me make sure that I don't get hit by that trainer that's down there. And now we're just gonna kind of relax as we cycle down the path here. There's a hidden PP up, but not really worth it in this category. So we're gonna go around this guy. And that's because there's a Max Elixir over here. Now that max elixir is just basically what that does is just completely restore all power points on all of my moves at once. So that combined with a max potion is basically just me doing another center, but then without actually entering the center. Now I will have to spend some money for the second and last time in this run, and that is in order to get into the Safari Zone. We are allowed one trip into the Safari Zone by the rules of this game, or the rules of this category, because we have to. There's 2 items here that are absolutely required to pick up. We get a bunch of Safari Balls. Once here, I'm gonna toss the nugget, because, let's be fair, we can't sell it anyway. Kind of worthless. So we'll leave that there for the next person to enter this place. They can get a nugget for free. Get some money. So, there are some carbos around. You'll notice that there will be 3 that I'm going to be picking up. And this has everything to do with making sure that we outspeed certain Pokemon. Not having X speeds like we normally do, these can just make it a little bit easier to outspeed things. This is relevant for not that many fights, but there are a few fights where it helps. Agatha, by the way, being one of them. I believe the extra levels plus the carbos is what helps me outspeed certain Pokemon. I'm just kind of trying to take the path with the least amount of grass tiles. Every grass tile I can avoid, it means fewer chances of actually, you know, having to battle a Pokemon. Downside of not having repels again. Get the gold teeth. We need the gold teeth because we can trade that in for the HM for strength. And then we talk to this guy to get the HM for surf. And I don't have enough room, and that's kind of bad, actually. What can I get rid of? I guess I can teach this now. Yeah, I'll teach Horn. I'll teach that now. I know why I have no room. Normally... So normally, I would have one spot because I'll have used all of my full restore, or all of my max potions at this point. But because we've gotten quite lucky with our health here and there, I, haven't used all of them, and I kind of want to try and save them a little longer. Which we should be able to. We open up one slot here by giving the fresh water. Alrighty, Team Rocket sequence. Let's finish up this part. So we're gonna go to floor 10. There's one fight there that I'm gonna do, and that's to get the TM for Earthquake, which will also be the last move I will be... No, that's not true. The before last move we will be teaching to our Nidoking. The last one being Blizzard, which we're gonna pick up fairly soon, but I need the 5th batch to be able to get that. Yeah, this fight's not that difficult. We just use Thrash. And this is kind of the beauty of this fight. We use Thrash here. This is the last time I'll be using Thrash in any battle in the game. After this, we're going to get rid of it, because we are going to teach Earthquake over Thrash. I'm going to go around. We're going to pick up the first 2 items, teach Earthquake, then pick up the 3rd item, because otherwise we wouldn't have enough room in our inventory. All the way down. While I'm here, I can teach Surf to our Squirtle, to Paul. And then Earthquake to Nidoking. Earthquake is pretty much our most used move in the late game. You'll notice me using that quite a lot as we go. Yeah, and then last item we're going to pick up here is another Carbos. Up our speed just a little bit more. So from here on, we kind of need to get the card key. That's going to immediately make it so that my inventory is going to be completely full again. Then once we have the card key, we can start finishing up this place. A couple items we need to grab, but all of them duplicates from items we already have. Now, I'm not sure if we level here again. I don't remember. We don't. Okay. Yeah, at this point in the run is when I'm going to start using those rare candies. We've been collecting them for a little while. I'm going to use them to get to level 41. I could potentially do that in the previous menu, actually. I don't know for sure if there's a reason why I don't. Not that it matters too much. Anyway, we pick up the card key. Before we do go on, there are 2 more items we want to grab. In the tree over here, there's an elixir. Definitely want those. And then on the previous floor is the second... yeah, no. Up a floor. On the... We go back up a floor. There is an extra X accuracy. This is the last X accuracy we can get. And we're going to use this specific X accuracy to beat the upcoming rival fight. That means I can only use Horn Drill for 2 fights in the game. That is the upcoming rival fight and Lorelei. Every other fight we have to we've worked out a different strategy for that'll get us through it. Through the door over here, we're going to use the teleporter, and then make our way to the rival fight. 3 battles, and then we're going to actually start doing some gym leaders for a little bit. I'm tempted to use a max potion. Yeah, I think I'll use it here. A lot of that health is wasted, but we have 2 full restores remaining, which should be more than enough for the rest of the game. Even if I go with the riskier strats, 2 should be enough. Although I think I'll go for the safer strats. I was about to say, wait, it's faster, but used quick attack. I'm being a little silly there. Yeah, from here on, we can just Earthquake, or Horn Drill everything. The level ups, the candies that we used are necessary because I need to make sure that I'm faster than Alakazam. Otherwise, Horn Drill wouldn't work on Alakazam and we would just die. The normal strat, I believe, is an X accuracy and an X speed. But yeah, the extra levels and the carbos make it so that we are faster here. And that is very important. Okay, rival beaten. On to the last two fights in this place. We have one more grunt to deal with. That grunt is super easy. And then we're going to fight Giovanni for the second time. Once we beat Giovanni, we are pretty much done with all of the story bits that we need to do, except for one thing. We still have to do the mansion, but we can only do that after we've beaten Koga. Yeah, this fight's just Bubble Beam, Earthquake, Bubble Beam, and that's it. Okay, time for Giovanni. Now, it is worth pointing out, on most of the next fights, we're just going to use Earthquake. Halfway through Koga's gym, I'm going to use that max ether that we got, like, half an hour ago to restore my power points back up there. And that's kind of something we'll do through, like, at this point, I've collected enough power point restoring items that I should have enough power points for the rest of the game. Now, generally speaking, I will actually have one PowerPoint restoring item left at the end, and that's mainly just in case things do go bad or you make a mistake somewhere. I do believe we are left with one ether at the end, although I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, this fight, not a problem. Earthquake, Thunderbolt twice on the Kangaskhan, and then Bubble Beam, Rhyhorn, and then Earthquake the last one again. And there we go. So, let's dig out once again, and then we are going to fly to Fuchsia, and we're going to go do the fourth gym leader that we're going to have to face in this run. Been a little bit since we've been in a gym, right? So, yeah, let's go do our thing here. The first juggler is super easy for 4 earthquakes. We'll get that down. The second juggler can actually be a little bit of a problem, because I think the Hypno is a range at this point. But we should be okay. And then after the second juggler, we will use that max elixir, get or max ether, get our earthquakes back up to speed. And we can move on from there. Yeah, this fight's just 3 Drowsies and a Kadabra. Okay, we are on 101 HP, which is actually really solid. Like, looking at my health right now, we're actually at a point where I don't need to save before this fight, which is quite rare. Normally I would have to. So, after the next fight, we actually do have the opportunity to go for a riskier strat. I can opt to let the wheezing self-destruct on me. We will win the fight. I can then heal up with rare candies. And the big advantage of going that strat is that I can then force myself into being in red bar after Koga. Downside is it could go very, very, very bad. Since we want to avoid that, I'm going to not do that, and I'm going to... It's about a 2-minute time loss not doing that, but all things considered, that is very worth it in this situation. Instead of using 3 earthquakes, I'm going to use 4. And try and not get self-destructed on. Now, again, this is a time loss, but it is a time loss for the sake of safety, and it is generally quite worth it. It's about a 2-minute time loss, but you save most of that time back. If we don't die, it'll have been very worthwhile. And this way, at least I can guarantee that we don't have to deal with, let's just say unfortunate misses from Blizzard, or just crappy RNG in general, because that can be a thing. So we do get the TM. I had some room in my inventory right now, which means we do pick that up, even though I'd like not to. But so be it. If the inventory is full, the text becomes a little bit shorter. It saves a couple of seconds. We hand in the gold teeth to the warden over here. And we get HM4. Oh, I did not want to toss the cart key, I wanted to toss the TM. So, time to make our way to the mansion. This is the last story bit, sort of, that we need to do before we can just start rushing the remaining gyms. This will also have a fair chance of giving us some encounters. The water has a very low encounter rate. Don't mind the fact that we find a rat on the water, that's because I'm at the edge. That's just a thing that happens when you're surfing on the edge. It somehow considers you being on land. There's a few tiles where that can happen. We're not going to care about that, really. Most of it's just going to be tentacles. Once we are done with that, we go into the mansion, where we're going to see a bunch of fire Pokemon. We're just going to kind of work our way through that. In there, we can find the TM for Blizzard, which is going to be replacing Bubble Beam shortly. And we can also find another Carbos and another rare candy, which we're all going to be picking up. Now, while I work my way through, I do quickly want to mention, for everyone, first and foremost, I hope everybody who's been enjoying this marathon run so far on the SASE stream, I hope you guys have all been enjoying this. This is always a super wacky category to do. If you do enjoy it, be sure to, at some point, also hop over to my channel. I'd always greatly appreciate that. I do these sort of wacky Pokemon runs all the time, so, if that's your cup of tea, now I've mentioned it. And with that being said, Double, if you have a brief, or if you want to talk for a brief moment about SASE and what you guys are working to here, we have about, I'd say probably about a minute to a minute and a half.
Yeah, most certainly, I could say a thing or two. So yeah, thank you all for being here, and thank you all for watching. It is very appreciated. Any and all support that we get, spreading the word, just tuning in, donating, any and all support is appreciated for this event. So yeah, thank you all very much. I do also quickly want to make a note about some of the other incentives that we've had, that we have received some donations towards that snuck through here. For example, we will be seeing an unused content exhibition for Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, which is our closing run. Closing run for today, and then on top of that, our closing run for day 2, which is Super Mario Odyssey, also had its incentive already met to change the category from any percent to world peace. So yeah, once again, thank you all very much for the support. And yeah, back to you, Crrool.
Yeah, and on that note, do keep donating. You know, it's all going to a great cause. Can't be understated. And I know, like that for those of you that know me a little bit better, Double, I consider Double a good friend, and I know he's put a lot of work in putting this together. So, you know, quick shout out to him. Let's make sure that the event becomes a success. Anyway, with that being said, we are now going to be... I'm going to use this Carbos first. So I can pick up the secret key here. Just gotta make sure... I still needed to use that. And that. All but one candy. We do save one rare candy here. We want to save that last rare candy that I have right now for the... we're going to use that just before the champion fight. And that's because that way the experience works out a little bit better. So we're going to dig out here. And it is time to go do some of the remaining gyms. Let's, this is where we kind of just do our gym rush. Starting off with Erica. Now, we got Blizzard just now, and Blizzard is very convenient for us because that means I can just go to Erica, Blizzard every single Pokemon in the gym there, and make that very easy. In Gen 1, Blizzard was 90% accurate rather than 70%, so it's actually a really powerful move for me to use. And it's decently likely to hit everything. We can afford one miss. 2 misses would kinda be sad. I'd be sad if that happens. We have backups if that does happen. It's not the end of the world, but we really don't want to miss more than once. Okay, that's the first Blizzard hit. Easy as that. Now we have the fight against Erica. I'm not going to separately save for the previous fight and this fight because, let's be fair, the previous fight is one Pokemon. We are very likely to just get through this fight no problem. With 90%... 90% per hit, we need to hit 3 times. Not really a big deal. There we go. Blizzard number 1. Yeah, in a normal run, you'd have Ice Beam instead of... Or you'd have the option of having Ice Beam instead of Blizzard. Ice Beam would be a little bit safer, but that would require buying an item in the mart, and we're not allowed to do that as per the category rules. That's Erica. Okay. We are gonna get the TM, which is a little sad, but... So, next gym. Our next stop is gonna be Blaine, the fire gym. Now, unfortunately, we have not yet been able to pick up a burn heal. We are not going to be able to pick up a burn heal before we enter the gym, so... Yeah, let's hope that's not going to be a problem, but I'm confident we'll be okay. So yeah, it's going to look as if there's a little quiz here, 6 questions. It's going to look as if I'm going to answer yes on everything. That is not actually true. Depending on which of the machines it is, I mash either A or B for either yes or no. The answer is A, B, 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 A, B. So for this one, I'll be mashing B. The answer no, and you know, that way we don't have to fight any of the trainers. Saves me a decent headache. As a kid, I never knew that you could skip the trainers like this, so I always thought it was always required to do all of them. Which I guess can be good experience, but I'd rather not. Two more questions left, so this is the next one where we press, where I mash A instead of B. And lastly, this one. Okay, here's Blaine. Now, the strategy for Blaine is super easy. We use Earthquake 4 times. That's the entire fight. There really isn't anything else to it. We literally just use Earthquake 4 times. We have 6. We do use an elixir after this battle before I go into the Sabrina fight. So, it's all fine. Okay, just Arcanine left. And that's Blaine done. In hindsight, I probably would have been okay going for the red bar strats. Because it's a marathon, I didn't want to risk that. But in hindsight, I probably would have been fine. Anyway, we dig out of the gym. Make a nice hole in the floor there. And it's on to Saffron City Gym for our 7th badge. We're progressing quite nicely. 2 more gyms remain, and then we can make our way to the end. I need to not forget to use the elixir here. I would almost forget that, and forgetting the elixir there would be fairly bad. Oh, that's the wrong teleporter. It's diagonal down. Or up, left, down, that would work as well. But that would be a little bit slower. Up, left, down is the solution we use for Gen 2, just because the trainer placement is a little different. Anyway, time for Sabrina. Now, the idea with Sabrina is also very easy. Just like with the previous fight, we Earthquake 4 times. Because of all the Carbos we use, and because of the level that we're at, we're always going to be faster than every single one of our Pokemon. So this fight becomes very easy. Earthquake on Venomoth, and then last we have Alakazam. Now it is a case of if Alakazam were to be able to hit me, it would be very scary. So we do want to make sure that we don't get hit by Alakazam. That's why the speed really does matter here. Okay, 7 badges out of the way. 1 more to go. It is time to go face Giovanni one more time. Now that we have all but one of the badges, the gym in Viridian has opened up, and we find out that it is Giovanni who runs the gym. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Yeah, just like with the earlier gyms, this one isn't scary either. There is one fight, there is a part where, you know, this one can go wrong a little bit easier than the other ones, but that's mainly because, you know, we have to use Blizzard twice. Now, that could be a problem if I was really, really low health, but since we're high health anyway, this gym's free. Totally free. Yeah, Blizzard takes care of Rhyhorn. The Black Belt coming up. No, I should say this differently. We have 6 Earthquakes. We have 8 Pokemon that we still need to deal with. So I can't actually Earthquake everything. One of the Pokemon on this Black Belt, I'm going to use Thunderbolt on. And then on Giovanni, the last Pokemon, I'm going to use Blizzard. And that will make that work. Earthquake. On Machop, we use Thunderbolt. And then on the other Machop, we just go back to Earthquake. That gives me 4 remaining for Giovanni itself. So back out of the gym. Double, just so you're aware, by the way, it is looking likely that we're going to go decently underestimate. Figured I should probably mention that, like, I'm only about 1.5 minutes behind my PB right now, and, you know, have we had any deaths yet? Yeah, I've had 1 reset so far. My estimate accounts for a lot more. Have a lot more. Anyway, Giovanni time. Giovanni, 4 Earthquakes, and then we Blizzard on the last Pokemon. The last Pokemon's always going to go for Horndrill. The thing with the Horndrill is Horndrill is only ever possible to hit if you're faster, and Rhydon isn't faster. So Rhydon will never hit me with Horndrill, which is why it's very safe of me to go for Blizzard on that one. Okay, Earthquake on this one. And then we try and Blizzard on the Rhydon. There we go. Easy as that. We get the Earth Badge, and that leaves the last gym leader done. Now we do have, we have a total of 6 more battles that we need to do over the course of the game. We have the rival fight, and then the Elite Four and Champion. Of those 6 fights, only 1 is the same as it would be in a normal, like, glitchless run. Only 1 fight that's actually going to end up being the same. For every single other fight, the strats are at least somewhat different. although often fairly similar. Oh, rival. Now this rival fight shouldn't be too scary. It's definitely one of the easier fights that we need to deal with. Like, the big threats are Lance and the final rival fight. Those two can really screw me over. Everything else should be okay. The Pidgeot is guaranteed to do agility. Will always do that as a result of it being its only psychic move, and psychic is super effective against me. Gotta love the way Gen 1 AI works. The Rhyhorn we can deal with Blizzard. After Rhyhorn comes out Gyarados. Gyarados is an easy one-shot with Thunderbolt. 4 times super effective after all. And then Alakazam and Growlithe we use, or Alakazam and Arcanine we use Earthquake on. Or it is still Growlithe. I wasn't really sure if it already evolved or not. And then 2 Blizzards to finish off Venusaur after that, and that will finish this fight. Now, chat, we do have a little trick we can do in Victory Road. Oh, we got a freeze! Nice, we got the freeze. There's a little trick we can showcase in Victory Road. It's called the Swag Boulder. And you guys really seem to, or, you know, I'd say we could do that, but, you know, looking at the donation total, how about we try and get that to 222, and then I'll do Swag Boulder for you guys. That's $7. And it wouldn't be a nice round number to leave it off at. I'm not super consistent at Swag Boulder, I will admit, but I should be able to show it off at least once or twice if I try for it. So anyway, badge check. They're gonna check whether we have all of the badges here. We are here. Now there's a max ether we can pick up over here. Which I do think we need to still pick up. And toss this. That'll get me the inventory space for it. There we go. The boulders are coming up, so like I said, we can get that total to 222, which it doesn't look like it is yet, although Double will have to confirm for me.
I will most certainly confirm for you, because we haven't just gone up to 222, we've gone above and beyond.
Alright.
Because we have a $35 donation from Audrey Azura saying, let the boulder have swag, and that brings us to $250 raised for this event so far.
Yeah,
so yeah, thank you very much, and we get swag boulder.
Yeah, so I'll do my best to showcase the swag boulder. This is not the boulder we usually use for it, because this one's a little tricky. So the swag boulder is a one-frame trick. There you go, that's the first one. Where I push the boulder, and then the animation plays differently, because at the same frame that I push the boulder, I have to turn. and that actually loses 2 frames, but it causes some really wonky things to happen. So, well, that's the first one, so at least I can now safely say we've at least done one, but I'll keep attempting to do as many as we can. So yeah, Victory Road, not much to say about this place. See, the thing with Victory Road is, after the batch check, there's kind of nothing to it. There's no required trainers in this place. We are going to do our very best to dodge every trainer in this place. Encounters we're kind of just going to have to deal with because I don't have any repels, and I can't really get any repels. You know, no shopping and all that. Also, for what it's worth, Swag Boulder luckily does not invalidate the run. It's just a visual glitch, which is allowed, I think, even in the glitchless runs. Like, your run isn't going to get invalidated over it. It just looks cool, but it's actually slow. Okay, I tried it there, messed it up. That's okay, we get more chances. Next floor, I'm hoping to get at least, like, 2 more. Okay, going down here. On the next floor, we have another boulder that needs pushing, and this is the one that we need to push the most. Let's see. Strength. Yeah, ideally you want to be up against the wall so that if you do miss it, you know, it doesn't matter too much. Come on. We've already done one of them. I'm sure we can do more. Be very disappointing if I can only do one swag boulder. There we go. There's a second one. Keep getting encounters on the turn frames, which doesn't help either, but it's all good, right? It's all good. We have one more boulder to push after this one, so let's see if we can at least get a third one. Maybe get a sideward swag boulder. I don't know. I'll keep trying for it. Least I can do, right? Okay, tally is still up to 2. Now, it is worth pointing out, this is a frame-perfect little trick. I need to push the boulder and turn it exactly that frame. Turn too early and you don't get the push. Turn too late and the boulder is already moving, so you don't have swag boulder. But hey, it's the one way to make Victory Road a little more interesting. Yeah, we're almost through. There is one more item that we're going to pick up at the very end of Victory Road, which will give me a total of 4 full restores going into the Elite Four itself. One thing that does make it more difficult is even when if I were to get it, I think if you get it on and you get an encounter on the turn frame, then it doesn't work anymore. Come on. Okay, we got one more. Let's go. 3 swag boulders. All of the 3 boulders I've gotten the swag on all of the 3 boulders. I'll take it. Hey, here we are. Victory, the Elite Four. Yeah, we can't talk to her. We can't buy. Let's go. Let's do this. So, first off in the Elite Four, this is Lorelei. This is the one fight that we're actually going to play the same, whether it is the No Centers, No Marts run or the regular one. And this is the fight that I needed to get the X accuracy for. So the strategy here, this is actually a really cool fight because we have a little thing we can do here. What we're going to do is we're going to switch to Farfetch'd. That is going to force Dugong into using Aurora Beam because that's the only super effective move it has on Farfetch'd. On the turn after, against Nidoking, it can do one of 2 things normally. It can do either Aurora Beam, which does a lot of damage and we don't want that, or, and this is also possible, it can instead opt to go for Rest. Now, because it has done Aurora Beam on the last turn against that Farfetch'd, somehow its AI makes it guaranteed to use Rest on Nidoking, giving us a free setup turn, which I can then use to then use the X accuracy so I can start spamming Horn Drills right after, making this entire fight free. The only way that you can lose this fight with this strategy, and there is a way, is if the Aurora Beam on Farfetch'd misses. That is a 1 in 256 chance to happen, but I have seen that happen before. Okay, last Horn Drill here, and then we are done with Lorelei. That's 1 done, 4 battles to go. Yeah, this is where I am going to heal. We have 4 full restores. We have the elixirs. This is just a good moment for me to restore everything we have. And then it is time for the second battle, and probably one of the more annoying ones. It's time for Bruno. So because it's No Centers, No Marts, Bruno is actually a little bit more scary. Several of its Pokemons are not one-shots, so he can actually do quite a bit of damage. Starting off with Onix, we just Blizzard that one for an easy one-shot. Earthquake does not one-shot it. We Earthquake on the Hitmonchan. That's going to be a... Okay, it's going to be a one-shot because we crit it. Hopeful. Earthquake on Hitmonlee. Very nice. So far, so good. Okay, this fight is going a lot better than it usually does. And the miss on submit. Okay, that was just... Can I just say that was basically a perfect... Okay, if we had hit on that last one, if we had killed on that last one, if we didn't get the range there, that would have just been a perfect fight. This is still basically a perfect fight. Okay, third fight in the game, Agatha. So Agatha is one of those fights where, like, all of our strats up to this point have kind of come down to this fight. Let's see if we can beat her. Okay, so Golbat is the only one that's not a one-shot. We need to use 2 Thunderbolts. And there's Confuse Ray. This is where this fight can become scary. Most of the Pokemon she has aren't that scary, but Confuse Ray can definitely make this fight a lot harder. Gen 1's the only gen where a Full Restore does not actually heal Confusion either, so we just have to sit through it until either I switch Pokemon or we die. And I don't have any Pokemon to switch to. Or we eventually snap out of it. That's also possible. Solid fight. Yeah, not complaining there. That was... I mean, the hitting myself in Confusion was a little unfortunate because it does mean I have to heal now, but... overall, a very decent fight. So next up is Lance, and Lance can absolutely screw me over. The Gyarados he starts out with, there's basically 2 things we kind of want to happen. We want one of 2 things to happen. We either want the Gyarados to miss Hydro Pump, or we want to crit Thunderbolt. In either of those 2 scenarios, we win the fight, and it's going to be easy. If that doesn't happen, he will hit Hydro Pump. If it's a crit, we lose. If it's not a crit, it's a range, and we are quite likely to lose. Yeah, this fight, kind of terrifying. Probably the most terrifying or second most terrifying fight in the game. Or we crit Thunderbolt and then this fight is free. Let's go. Yeah, that's the other side of this. This fight can be completely free if that happens. We've gotten very lucky with most of these fights so far. But my god, this is actually one of my luckier runs. Yeah, Aerodactyl we don't one-shot. Supersonic? Seriously? Most of the time I've seen him go for Hyper Beam. Alright, well that works. This is a great Lance fight. Don't really have much more to say than that. This is just a great Lance fight. Well, that's Lance done. But we have one more trainer to face. Ether Blizzard. We're going to use that last rare candy. The reason we use the rare candy here is because once a stat change affects me, on top of the stat change, all of the batch boosts get reapplied. It's an unavoidable minor glitch in Gen 1. They get applied until I level up. And I actually need, we're going to use an X Special at the start of this fight to boost all of my stats by a small amount. And that will make me faster than Alakazam. If I do not outspeed Alakazam, we lose. So we use the X Special, not so much to boost my special, but rather to boost my speed, as a result of that batch boost glitch. Also, animations get turned on for this fight, that's always the case. Double time is about a minute and a half after this fight. A minute 20 after this fight. Okay. So yeah, if I hadn't used the rare candy, there's a chance you level up here going into Alakazam, and then Alakazam is faster than me. Now I'm faster than Alakazam instead. That's the big reason why we use it. Okay, that's that one. For Gyarados. Gyarados easy, just Thunderbolt. Arcanine, we just Earthquake. Now for Venusaur, we Earthquake into Blizzard. That's the only one that's not a one-shot. Earthquake. This is super close to PB for me. It's not PB, but it's within half a minute of it. Oh, that's a crit. Okay, if Blizzard hits, we win. Yeah, we win. Cool. So yeah, that is Pokemon Red, no centers, no marts. Like I said, time is coming up in about 1.5 minutes. It's as we fade into the credits after the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Professor Oak comes to congratulate us. And that is how we beat the entire game without ever using a center or a mart, or really ever doing a free heal or ever buying anything except for the 2 that are required. So, here we are, into the Hall of Fame. Let's see our 3 heroes. We have Nidoking, double the Nidoking. We have Paul the Squirtle, and Dux the Farfetch'd. And there we go. Get ready. Time. Yeah, that was 21 seconds behind PB, which, considering how safe my strats were, like, that was really solid. That was a really lucky run. Like I said, if you liked this run, if you like weird, wacky Pokemon speedruns, be sure to head over to my channel and you know, drop a follow. We do weird and dumb Pokemon categories all the time. For people in my channel, be sure to hang around. We're going to go over and say hi to SASE together in a moment. Double, thank you so much for having me, and good luck on the rest of your event. Back to you.